call medics. If there's a situation where there's, violence in the park, we're going to call more resources that deal with that, like police. That's not to say that we are incapable of doing those things. It's just whenever we have something like that happen, as part of our safety, we request additional resources. So I don't feel like this needs to have 15 people talking to you guys unless violence is starting, right? We can have these conversations, but as long as everybody agrees that at the end of the day, it's going to go according to the law. There's a song, I fought the law and the law won. That's kind of the motto that a lot of people...
Doesn't happen too often when it comes to First Amendment rights, but it's the other way around.
That's what I'm saying. If you feel you have a case, just keep doing what you're doing.
I mean, I've already got 2 sliding into court this year, and that's 2. What the thing over
like
Z,
I said, it's nothing,
that shit is
no will against you guys. I'm doing my job of enforcement as directed by the city.
But you're not doing your job because your job is to uphold state and federal law, which you're not doing.
And municipal codes, which I'm doing.
Okay, so if a municipal code conflicts with a state law, the state law has higher authority.
This is where I'm saying this conversation, don't have it with me. You have it with the people in court.
But you're the one who's supposed to be obeying these laws.
And I am.
You're not obeying state law.
And if you can prove that I'm wrong, then do it.
Okay, well, do you have an email address I can send you information?
I can give you my name and badge number.
Well, how do I know that will get to your email address? I have your name right there in Collins.
I just don't really feel like corresponding any further about this stuff with you.
Fair enough.
So just for future reference, if you see like a drummer play there, I mean, set up on my tent over there.
I already talked to this drummer.
Yeah, you would give us both the citations in the future.
That would be correct.
Do you know how much that citation would be for?
They got rid of the warnings, so the first one would be 100, next one would be 200, 250. I have to look at the fee schedule, but
Each,
basically
like progressive citation for the same offense.
Correct, or any offense within the year, right? For the sidewalk vending ordinance. So what it all boils down to is the city is providing opportunity for you to continue your expressive activity in designated locations, time, place, and manner, kind of thing. So,
I mean, from where we were at a couple days ago to where we're at now, it's not continuing to uphold that, it's restricting what we were able to do.
I mean, you're entitled to your views. I feel like it's a win.
So where is the public forum legally?
For what?
Everything, just for public to be.
I'm not understanding what you're asking.
Open your eyes. Everywhere you see a human being is public forum.
Correct.
This right here is not legal because you're turning public forum into limited public forum, which is not something even allowed to do on a college. So if you're not allowed to do it on a college, the time, space, manner rules will not fly in a park.
Like I'm saying with you have what you believe to be true.
I know it to be true because I've been researching this shit for 20 years.
To the proper places, which is courts and appeals. And if you don't feel
If you're willfully ignorant to what I'm teaching you and trying to teach you, then, I am taking it to the proper place.
I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm telling you how I'm going to respond, so that it's
Okay,
clear across
well,
the board.
I'm telling you how I'm going to respond. If you take it a single busker, I will personally sue you, Collins, and you, C. Ryan. And I fully intend to get as many people here as possible to take over the park with activism.
And like I said, all of those things are written into ordinances, just like what I'm doing today.
Religious folks, buskers, activists, protesters, artists, musicians, anyone who does any form of expressive activity. Balboa Park is starting to enforce rules where you have to be in these 8x8 or 8x4 brackets. Otherwise, you're not allowed to express your freedom of expression. Here's one of those brackets. This is one of the only 2 or 3 8x8s in the whole area. So if you are an expressive activity and you believe in your First Amendment rights, come on down to Balboa Park anytime and come speak up for your rights. Be sure to hire a lawyer.
About how I feel personally about my enforcement actions. Okay, I'm going to tell you that my job and follow the letter of the ordinance to the T. And it has nothing to do with anything personal. It's just enforcement action.
If there were a rule that you thought was unjust, would you still enforce it just because that's your job?
If I felt like there was a rule that was unjust, I have the ability and freedom to quit my job. That's what I'll say about that.
Is that the only option? You couldn't just choose not to enforce it?
It's not necessarily, like I said, man, like what I want to talk to you about isn't about how I feel personally. I don't want to get into the kangaroo court side of things. Like I want to be very black and white. Nothing about my feelings. It's about what the ordinance is and how it's going to get rolled out.
We'll see.
What about the feelings of people that are trying to express themselves now?
And like I said, there's opportunity for
Because
people
we're not
to do
actually
that.
But
here as robots.
expressing to a squirrel is not an opportunity.
And like
We
I said,
have a right to
I
reach
keep-
the public.
I keep telling you all that I'm not the person to take this up with. I'm just
We've
the
already
one-
taken it up with the people to
We've
take
done
this
it so
up
many
with.
times over the years, over and over again.
It's just a
The new
repeated
Rangers
cycle
brought in-
over and over and over. Well, when we get tired of it, we will do what's necessary to stop it.
Okay.
Yeah. New Rangers come in, they infringe on our rights, we fight them, they get sent somewhere else, they bring in new Rangers, the cycle repeats itself.
Okay.
Over and over again. Like,
I mean, that's the way that it's going to continue to work unless.
when you
Well,
choose-
then
when
I
you continue
guess
to
you
choose
guys
to
are
be
going to
aggressive,
continue to get enamored until y'all don't have jobs.
We are just here to enforce the ordinance as it's written, man.
Just here to be Nazis, like they could say the same thing, right?
So-
We're just following orders.
I mean, at this point,
But
I
I'll tell
really
you-
don't feel like I have anything that's going to benefit you or make you feel better about this situation. So I'm going to go ahead and excuse myself and continue on with my education for the rest of the day.
I
Thank you
appreciate
guys.
your friendliness.
Thank you guys for your
and
time.
I think you are probably believing that you're doing the nice thing and how you're talking to us. I do appreciate that part of it.
like
I
to carry
appreciate that
I
as
like
well.
to carry respect with the conversations.
And I don't mean to be
Street.
disrespectful. I'm when I pull out stuff like
I can tell
Nazi
you're
and stuff.
upset. I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's when
Just an
you've been
ongoing
fighting
dialogue
for
for
rights for
years.
20 years and people that's sworn to an office to protect those rights don't give a flying fuck. Yeah, I'm upset.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody in this town has promised to protect our rights and instead kicked us out further and further away from where we need to be.
Okay.
And it's not only deprivating our rights, it is interfering with our businesses, which is also a crime. If I was to step in between you where you were talking to him, that would be interfering with your duty as an officer. It's no different than that. It's
Okay.
no different. You're interfering with our commerce.
You're in Balboa Park. Okay. Yeah. All right. Welcome. Yeah, you know down the Prado. Okay, great. Okay, well,
So enforcement
point-
starts from tomorrow onward.
so enforcement started yesterday. That's when technically, because that's when the ordinance was finalized.
Nobody talked to me about it yesterday.
Here I am. I'm trying to provide information. So if we find ourselves in these areas and there's no violations of the ordinance, and there's no reason for us to say anything except for a hi, hello, or happy days.
Now, do you think some extra spaces might be added if it turns out to
And
be a
that's where I
problem?
think that you guys have, like, what needs to be understood is that our department is not trying to shut people down. We're trying to work with the balance, because that's what parks are always had to do. They've had to balance different user groups.
Then why haven't they involved us with picking out the locations?
And like I said, and that's not me. I know
That's
that
a
you're
good
upset.
question to ask up.
Yeah.
You have that ability as a ranger. Say, hey, these guys want to know why y'all haven't even bothered to try to work with them rather than push them out of the area.
And you know, and what happens in government is people come and go, people are voted in, people leave. The tides of government change, right? So that's just how it is. This is a plaza.
Is it a public sidewalk?
I'm not understanding your question.
It's yes or no. Is it a public sidewalk?
This is a park. It's not designated as a sidewalk. This is designated as a plaza.
Is it public?
Yes.
Okay. Is he blocking or obstructing the path?
Um,
Can people get past him?
so, are you? What's your intention with your questions?
So the way you're answering kind of answers my question. He's not obstructing. He can set up anywhere, no matter what city laws. There's California law and there's federal law. He's not blocking.
Okay.
This is his First Amendment right.
Okay.
He can be here. If there's a city law or something, then why are you sitting here talking? Write a citation and take it to court and just prove it in court.
Okay, well, that's what I'm trying to avoid, is providing education so that people can work with the city instead of fighting it. Like, everybody's fighting everybody right now, and it doesn't need to be that way.
But we're not fighting anyone.
We've tried working with the city.
Like, people are going past it.
I am not physically restraining him at all. In fact, I've said twice or 3 times now that I'm trying to excuse myself from the situation. So,
Are you threatening them with citations or arrests or anything?
no.
For next time.
We're
are.
providing education of what's coming.
He said next time he sees us outside one of these brackets, he'll give us a ticket.
And I feel like that's enough information for you guys to discuss amongst yourselves. But yeah, if you guys do have questions, feel free to check out the website, read the ordinances.
I already have all the information.
We have all these areas designated. And yeah, if you see our unit rolling around, we're going to be the ones who keep our narrative. So feel free to ask questions as we're walking by you.
And you've already said several different things than what Bahar said 2 days ago.
Sorry, we mind waiting for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, that is annoying when the planes fly over.
I want to make sure that I hear
But you basically said completely different things than what Bahar said 2 days ago on Friday.
What's that?
Well, Bahar said that, he was telling one person one thing. He was telling another person that was an expressive activity that they weren't expressive activities. He was telling some people that they could be here, other people that they couldn't. I mean, it's conflicting information coming from Rangers.
Right now would technically be called something called hearsay, and I wasn't there for any of that stuff. So
This was.
Okay. Well, like I said, I wasn't witness to anything that was said about that. I'm trying to be as by the book as possible what the ordinance says, and maintain respect and understanding that you guys are upset because of history of what's been going on. I understand that. Moving forward, I don't think that this has to be combative in nature. I think that there's ways that people can work together to accommodate all interests of the park.
Well, at this
believe
point, the city has had that offer on the table and keeps violating the rights. So anyone involved is going to get sued.
Like I said, I'm going to continue to do my job as a public official, but I promise you that I will be as respectful as I am right now during all of my contacts. Because ultimately the goal of enforcement action isn't to stick it to anybody, it's to motivate changes in behavior. And that's what we're doing.
My behavior is standing up for First Amendment rights, and there's nothing you can do to change that. You want to lock me up for it? You lock me up. That's all I gotta say.
So there's protests that go along here all the time, you know that. If I were to get a sign saying women's rights and stand on the side, would you cite me for that?
Well, what I'm going to do is refer you at this point, because I've spent a lot of time with you guys and have a lot of areas to go. I'm going to refer you to the EA ordinance, okay? And I can provide that to you so that you can read it. And that question is addressed in there.
Do you know the answer though?
Yes, I do.
Is it yes or no?
It's not that simple.
So I couldn't take a sign saying women's rights and stand on the side.
Like I said, I'll be happy to refer you to the ordinance, but I mean, at this point, I'm kind of ready to leave. So unless you guys have any other questions that are not pertaining, that cannot be answered.
Questions you don't want to answer.
It's not that I don't want to answer them. I have limited time with how much time I can do this, and I have to move to the next spot. So,
But she's asking because that is a relevant question of expressive activity. Because we see a lot of protesters.
and like I'm saying,
And we don't know her, by the way. She just walked up and started
that's fine,
asking.
and I welcome public interactions. So, like I said, if you're interested in finding that answer out, I will provide you with the EA ordinance. Then you can read it, and then if you have questions after you read that document, then I'm happy to explain.
It seems really difficult if you know the answer and you're here harassing these guys.
Am I harassing you?
Because
It's a future update that.
So the way I see it is any interaction when we're not committing a crime